following is a presentation of the Big Ten Conference.
The Bruin fans are out in droves here on a perfect day in Pasadena at the home of the Rose Bowl, where the UCLA Bruins are looking for their first win of the season here in Week 3 under second-year head coach Deshaun Foster. Nico Iamaleava trying to help his team get in the win column. Football on the Big Ten Network is presented by Stanley Steamer. Here come the Bruins in the classic blue and gold helmets. UCLA looking for a must-need win against a pesky New Mexico Lobos team in year one in the Jason Eck era, eyeing a headliner victory before their bye week. Carlo Jimenez alongside Brock Vereen. Drea Avent is on the sideline. Brock, the weekend is here. Big Ten football is here, and UCLA is hoping this is the start of a new chapter in their season.
The last thing any Bruin thought was that they would be sitting here in Week 3, still looking for win number 1. But you can't go back. All you can do is look forward, and what lies ahead is a pesky New Mexico team, like you said, Carlo, and make no mistake, they fully expect to leave Los Angeles with another win.
This is a UCLA team that goes as their quarterback goes, and Nico Iamaleava, the transfer from Tennessee. What have you seen through 2 weeks from the QB?
The frustration is because he can do it all. How about layering a throw, putting that football out of a linebacker's reach but dropping it safely in the breadbasket of his wide receiver? How about fitting this ball into a tight window, throwing this ball on a line to make sure his receiver can get the ball safely and protect himself before taking any kind of big hit? But he does want the big play, turning down a wide open first down because he wants 6. The ball gets tipped, and it is a game-losing interception. Again, the reason why you can be frustrated is because, you know, there is nothing you can ask out of a quarterback that Nico cannot do, but it has to come together tonight.
You look at the defense, a lot of shifting on the front end and the back end, but the 2 linebackers in the middle, they are the stalwarts, Isaiah Chisholm and John Vaughns.
They're still looking to find their identity, this UCLA defense, but in Vaughns and Chisholm, they have 2 centerpieces who can do it all and that you can rely on. Let's face it, Carlo, this UCLA team is backed into a corner. They have 2 options: come out swinging or succumb to the pressure and remain as the lone winless Big Ten team.
Let's go down to Drea on the offense, needing to start strong.
Well, guys, UCLA spent this week building on their second-half performance against UNLV, where they played with more purpose and more passion on both sides of the ball. So Coach Foster wants that to transfer over into tonight's game. He wants his guys to come out, start fast, set the tone early, and he wants the O-line to do a better job of protecting Nico. Give Nico more time to go through his reads, go through his progressions, so he can elevate UCLA's offense. A clean pocket will be crucial tonight. And on the defensive side of the ball, he wants his guys to come out with more fire, more intensity, bring that wrecking crew type mentality, get after it, get more takeaways, because that's something they haven't done so well yet this season, and he wants to see that change tonight, guys.
Well, they'll have an opportunity on the defensive end. New Mexico deciding to receive the football as we get a look at a beautiful night here in Pasadena. 72 degrees, which is 62% humidity. This is a true Southern California summer night, and we are in September. How about that? The Bruins set to kick it away to the Lobos, and UCLA will start on the defensive side against a New Mexico offense headed up by Jack Lane that has averaged 24 points a game through the first couple of weeks. They did it all on the ground in Week 2. They scored all their touchdowns through the air in Week 1, eyeing a much more balanced attack. Abe Williams back to return. He could be dangerous. 2023 Big Sky Conference first teamer and a 2-time FCS All-American. Here comes the kick from the Bruins. As we get you Big Ten football on this Friday night. Bagani puts it in the air. We'll head back into the end zone. So we mentioned him earlier, the captain. There he is, Jack Lane, who leads this New Mexico Lobos offense. Did have a rushing touchdown last week, but none through the air. praised him throughout the week on his high IQ, like a coach on the field, said his offensive coordinator, Luke Schleissner.
That same offensive coordinator made it very clear Jack Lane is playing the best football of his career.
Buchanan in the backfield with Lane. Little trickery. Lane into the flat. Here comes McKinney. And he dives across the 45.
Offensive coordinator Luke Schleissner wasting no time. How about this? Get the defense thinking. You get a handoff to the left, you get a handoff to the right, you get a pitch back, and that first guy who had the football, the one you forgot about, he gets the ball again. That's the speedy DJ McKinney, and if it was not for Isaiah Chisholm wrapping up those ankles, he may still be running.
A 20-yard gain. Buckley, he's gonna throw. Looking downfield, and it's broken up, incomplete. Key Lawrence made the key stop.
What is in the Wheaties of the New Mexico Lobos? They are wasting nothing. A double pass. First off, an incredible effort by Michael Buckley to one-hand that, and Key Lawrence, the free safety, able to distract Bankston, but it still bounced right off of his head. UCLA should consider themselves lucky.
Scott Trey Humphrey goes in motion. Screenplay broken up immediately. Intended for Dorian Thomas, and Cole Martin was there to meet him.
Cole Martin, the nickel, read it like a book, setting up another screen pass. He knew exactly where that ball was going to be. Jack Lane didn't mean to set up his tight end Dorian Thomas for slaughter. But UC 21 huffing and puffing. He is the box safety of all the nickels, meaning he is the best run supporter of the bunch. You will see 3 different nickels rotate through, but there you see Cole Martin doing what he does best.
3rd and 10 for the Lobos. Lane with plenty of time. Now he'll tuck it down. And he is dragged down out of bounds by Jalen Woods.
And that's just a good old-fashioned coverage sack. UCLA defensive coordinator Ikaika Malloy choosing to drop coverage, trusting his guys to keep those white jerseys covered. Jalen Woods finally pulled the trigger and said, I'm going to go get that quarterback before he takes off. Jack Lane can't run, but Jalen Woods secures it, making sure that punt unit comes on the field.
Here is Daniel Hughes, oldest player on this New Mexico team. The Aussie set to boot it away. Mikey Matthews awaits the kick. And his UCLA offense will start at the 11. A 42-yard punt from Hughes. Well, there he is, Nico Iamaleava, the quarterback transfer from Tennessee, who has talked about, Brock, I need to be better this week to help his team find success, especially in first halves.
You nailed it, partner. You go back to the post-game interview a week ago after that devastating loss to UNLV. Every single one of his answers, every one, either began or ended with, I gotta be better. And it's time for number 9 to show the talent that he showed at Tennessee. Remember, he led a team to the college football playoff. It is not a question of talent. It is a question of chemistry and it coming together when you need it most.
90 yards to work with on the opening drive. Nico dumps it off. Gilmer gets a nice gain on first down, and UCLA well ahead of schedule, picking up 8. Take you through this UCLA offense, a group that has seen a lot of rotating at the line, but this running back core, something they think can work long-term, Brock.
They haven't really had the ability to run the football. They find themselves behind immediately in the game, but there are 3 or 4 running backs that we should expect to see. They can all go. They just need the opportunity.
Flags fly. Is this something Deshaun Foster?
Offense, number 74, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Julian Armella whistled for moving a little quick.
You see him at that right guard spot, starts to roll back on his heels, and that is enough to get the flag thrown. 14 penalties in that UNLV loss a week ago, Carlo. Unfortunately, they're right on pace to match that.
The give is to Jet Thomas. And they'll turn it into 3rd and short.
And head coach Jason Eck for New Mexico is furious on the sideline. Not sure what about, but he is letting the official have it as we come here to 3rd and short. This is where, as a defense, you have to be aware of how athletic Nico Iamaleava is. 3rd and short, 4th and short, a lot of zone read, a lot of situations where he can take off with his legs.
Here comes the blitz. Nico's gonna run. He's got the first. And UCLA will move the chains. Caleb Coleman beats him across the 20.
And this is what you love to see from Nico. If there's nothing there, don't force it. Trust your speed. He's like a gazelle out there, 6'6", and shockingly tough to get him on the ground. Taking a late knee to the face there, but he's as tough as they come. He pops right back up with a first down.
Iamaleava across his body, finds his man. Mokiao Atimalala with a catch, and it's another Bruin first down.
And this shows the full display of ability of Nico Iamaleava. A righty rolling to his left. Look where he places this football, on the back shoulder of Titus Mokiao Atimalala. On the back shoulder. Why? Because look at Caleb Coleman trying to come in and take his head off. Fantastic effort by Titus and fantastic throw by Nico.
And a little gain for Anthony Woods, the Idaho transfer who played under Jason Eck at Idaho. There's his son, Jackson Eck, and everything they do on the defensive end, Brock, for New Mexico, it is all centered around the ability of their captain, number 6.
The head coach's son, so you say a coach on the field, you better believe it. And Caleb Coleman, he's already made his impact felt. The nickel, you'll see him down by the line of scrimmage. You'll see him back as a safety. He does it all.
Nico gonna keep it himself. Gets to the 45, and he'll set up another 3rd and short for UCLA.
And this is what UCLA offensive coordinator Tino Sunseri wants. Manageable 3rd downs when you're not taking sacks, when you're not having to throw the ball away because your guys are covered, when you're not having runs for loss. You can have manageable 3rd downs. And as we already saw on this series, when you have an athletic quarterback, that's a great place to be because he will always have the option to pick it up himself.
UCLA entered today just 21% on 3rd down. They can convert their 2nd 3rd down of their opening drive. The toss to Berger, and he's wrapped up in the backfield for a loss. David Murphy, the New Mexico native, meets him for a negative play.
And Murphy sniffed this out from the jump. This is a long developing sweep considering it's to the boundary. And you're going to see number 3 come flying in. David Murphy had an interception a week ago, making his first start after last week's performance. And again, that's such a long developing play. When you're going into the boundary, what does that mean? Less space for the defense to cover. Would have loved to see that to the field or just a different play entirely.
Carroll to boot it away. Buckley, the return man. And he hangs on to it, and a flag flies in. Coming in coverage to try to put a hit on was Kanye Clark. 39-yard punt.
Kanye Clark, one of the fastest men on this team, clears 22 miles an hour on a regular basis. That's why he's out there as a gunner. He's saying, I let him catch the ball.
Kicking team number 1. 15-yard penalty, first down. Timeout.
Both teams have had a chance. Both have punted away. New Mexico will start their second drive. No score here in Pasadena, and after getting a couple looks at that last punt, let's bring in our rules analyst, Steve Strimling. Steve, what did you see on this flag?
Yeah, so this isn't a function of early contact, but the defender has to give the receiver 1 yard directly in front of him, that shoulder to shoulder. He gets right into that space, and that's what caused the penalty, and this we feel is a good call.
The penalty sets up UCLA at the 36. Thanks, Steve. Here's Scott Trey Humphrey. He gets into the second level, and he picks up the first down on first down. Cole Martin with the tackle.
Scott Trey is a downhill running back. He wants to go north and south. He'll get most of his work in between the B gaps and the A gaps, whereas they'll bring in their speedy guys, Deshaun Buchanan, Damon Bankston, to run outside. But Scott Trey Humphrey doing what he does best right there.
That carry over 2,000 yards in his career. He's 7 yards away coming into tonight. Another give to Humphrey. He's got space. Scott Trey into UCLA territory. Key Lawrence with the stop.
And Scott Trey just going this far untouched is a nightmare for any defense. Key Lawrence taking all of that 210 pounds of number 22. And right now, this UCLA defense, it's been the same thing that we've seen the first 2 weeks, the inability to stop the run. Scott Trey is enough to make it hurt.
141 yards last week in their win over Idaho State. He remains in the backfield. He gets it again. And this time, UCLA sniffs it out. Let's take a look at tonight's Impact Players, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
For New Mexico's offense, it's going to be do-it-all tight end / wide receiver Dorian Thomas. And for UCLA, it'll be defensive tackle Gary Smith III and linebacker John Vaughns. Shoring up the center, the core of that UCLA defense that right now is getting gashed.
How about the same play? Scott Trey will get a couple. I believe it's Gary Smith there on the stop, doing it from the backside. And here comes a big third down for this New Mexico offense.
And a good time to remind everyone, Jack Lane is nowhere near the athlete that Nico Iamaleava is, but make no mistake, if you give him an opportunity, he will pull on his own. He's fast enough to where you have to respect him as a runner.
Had his second career rushing touchdown a week ago. McKinney the back. 3rd and 3. McKinney gets the first down and finds his way into the red zone. Kanye Clark the tackle.
You saw McKinney go in motion pre-snap. Jack Lane saw man coverage, meaning Cole Martin is going to have a one-on-one tackle with DJ McKinney. And what you see right here is a missed tackle, something that has plagued this Bruin defense all season long, but that is just intelligence by Jack Lane. That motion tells you, man, he says, my running back is good enough to make one of your guys miss. They have to figure it out defensively for UCLA. You cannot let a team run the ball at will, getting 8 yards a pop.
Lane hands to McKinney. And he's met after about 6. Brock, they call him the Rushmore 4. 4 New Mexico transfer running backs all led their team in rushing a season ago, including McKinney, who was the Conference USA Freshman of the Year.
What a great feeling for offensive coordinator Luke Schleisner. I have 4 guys who can be RB1. I have 4 RB1s, and Carlo, we're seeing that effect right now. They are running the ball at will.
And Jason Eck says the man in the game, Scott Trey Humphrey, is the best running back he's seen in quite some time, but believes in McKinney and Bankston and Buchanan's ability. Lane finds Dorian Thomas. And he tight ropes the sideline. It's 1st and goal for New Mexico.
you're going to see nickel Kanye Clark lose his leverage. On these speed screens, you have to be outside of the man blocking you. And you see number 1 sealed off. Great blocking by Michael Buckley. You have to have outside leverage. Your help is always inside of you if you are a nickelback.
Thomas, who leads the FBS in receptions with now 16. As we're going to get a look at James Lobstein, who turns 23 tomorrow. More of a runner. They like to use him in these goal-to-go situations. Lobstein. Dragged down just short. Looking for the edge.
You mentioned his ability to run. He's kind of a pseudo wildcat. They can bring in Scott Trey for a true wildcat to take that snap. But James, you also have to respect the threat of a pass. But he's going to head to the sideline as Jack Lane is going to come back in. But once they get to the low red, that's where Lobstein starts to see some action.
Drive now over 5 minutes for New Mexico. Scott Trey up the middle, into the end zone. Touchdown, New Mexico, and they're on the board first.
You let Scott Trey, the man that helped you get all the way down here, finish it off. And look at that push by the New Mexico offensive line. Every blue jersey on the defensive line, they have their heels in the end zone because they all got driven back 2 or 3 yards. So credit to the Lobo offensive line. This UCLA defensive front has to figure it out because that drive right there is not going to get it done.
Drzwicki on for the PAT. And he splits the uprights for New Mexico. 9 plays, 64 yards, and it ends with a Scott Trey Humphrey touchdown. New Mexico up 7. Football on the Big Ten Network is presented by Stanley Steamer. Game day gets messy. Stanley Steamer brings the clean. And by DQ, happy tastes good. Well, this isn't the first time these two head coaches are in the Rose Bowl together. You got to go back to 1999 when Wisconsin defeated UCLA. Jason Eck, a lineman for the Rose Bowl champion Wisconsin Badgers. And Deshaun Foster had 10 carries for 38 yards that night. They don't have shoulder pads like that anymore, do they, Brock?
Looks like a helicopter. I tell you what, I hope Ron Dane, who had 246 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground for the Badgers, bought Jason Eck a nice medium rare steak after that game because you don't get almost 250 yards on your own.
Eck said this week he's 3-0 all time here in the Rose Bowl.
He's not wrong.
Twice as a coach, once as a player. Kick on its way back. A little squibber. Titus Mokiao Ati Malala. It sets up the UCLA offense. When we return, the Bruins looking to even things up at 7 on their 3rd drive of the night here at the Rose Bowl. We welcome you back to Pasadena, where the New Mexico Lobos lead 7-0. Right now, the first 250 fans will get $20 off a Big Ten Plus annual pass, stream nearly 200 UCLA games, plus 2,500 more events across the Big Ten this season. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to BigTenPlus.com and make sure you enter FB20 when selecting an annual pass at checkout to take advantage of this offer. Anthony Woods joins Nico Iamaleava in the backfield as the Bruins set up 1st and 10. Nico looking for Mikey Matthews, but did Keyshawn James Newby get there first? The lead defensive edge.
And you are going to see this UCLA offensive line struggling with stunts, struggling with twists, something that New Mexico certainly saw in these first 2 weeks, and unfortunately it has not gotten corrected. Keyshawn James Newby with the old ET twist, and Garrett DiGiorgio struggling to keep up with him.
Woods fights his way, but lost the football. The ball's on the ground. New Mexico thinks they have it. And do the Lobos have a turnover? They do. Caleb Coleman.
There's no question Caleb Coleman fell on that football. The argument Anthony Woods is making is that he was on the ground first.
Well, if this does stand, New Mexico would set themselves up beautifully deep in UCLA territory.
By the defense under further review.
And it looks like his back is on the floor on that first look, Brock.
That's exactly what it looks like. One heck of an effort from defensive end Keyshawn James Newby, just had the sack a play before, and that is certainly Anthony Woods' butt, back, and shoulders on the ground before it pops out. Now, that is not going to be good enough for head coach, former superstar running back Deshaun Foster. He wants that ball held on no matter what you go through. But in regards of keeping the football in the offense's hands, he did hit the ground first.
Let's welcome in our rules analyst, Steve Strimling. Steve, what did you see on the replay?
Yeah, on the replay, this is a great shot. We can see that not only is the arm down, he still has control. You can see other body part down. I think replay is going to get this same shot and do this fairly quickly. This is down by rule.
All right, if Steve says he's down, he must be down, right, Brock?
Steve knows all. I don't care if it's an 80-degree day and sunny. If Steve says it's raining, I'm grabbing an umbrella.
It's not raining here in Pasadena. As Caleb Coleman hopped on that football. Coleman, a huge part of this defense for New Mexico. And right now, the Bruin fans holding their breath. A turnover here, and New Mexico an opportunity to go up 2 scores. If you're
after review, the runner was down at the 22-yard line. It's 3rd down.
Thank you, Ron Snodgrass. UCLA opportunity to regroup. Brock, what are they looking to do here on 3rd down?
They have to get Nico outside of the pocket. 3rd and 5 here. Their wide receivers are not separating at the level that I'm sure Nico and really every Bruin fan here expected them. These Lobo defensive backs are holding their own in what has been predominantly man coverage.
Nico escapes. Pulls it down, and he's tripped up short. Coleman picked up the fumble that was called back, but he makes the drive-ending tackle and forces a Bruin punt.
Caleb Coleman is everywhere. We told you on the very first series, watch out for 18. He is everywhere. Up at the line of scrimmage. He can be at the 2nd level. He can be at the 3rd level. He realizes that quarterback is taking off. I need to meet him. And he makes a sure tackle, gets Nico around the ankle, and gets his defense off of the field. Number 18 is off to one heck of a first quarter.
Really didn't play much at West Virginia, transferred to Texas State where he was mainly on special teams, but he's been a huge part of this New Mexico defense. Buckley makes a fair catch. New Mexico set up nicely after just a 32-yard punt by UCLA. Nico and Tino looking things over. New Mexico with the ball. Deshaun Foster looks on as his defense trots out. New Mexico leading 7-0. Deshaun talked all week about starting fast, and once again, Brock, UCLA stumbling out of the gates.
UCLA has yet to score points in the first quarter. They only have 1 touchdown in the first half. Against Utah, they were down 0-20. Against UNLV last week, they were down 0-23. Unfortunately, we're seeing more of the same here in week 3.
Handoff up the middle for Bankston. He is roped to the ground. UCLA continuing to try to stay strong in the middle of that defensive line, really where they have their biggest bodies.
Gary Smith, one of those big bodies who was able to wrap up the running back before he could get going. I mean, Gary Smith is an NFL talent. Keanu Williams is an NFL talent. They are monsters, whereas the linebackers are the Bash brothers. I call Keanu and Gary the Stout brothers. But right now, they are getting pushed around.
Mexico averaging over 6 yards per carry. Lane has Miller, and he's into UCLA territory, but a flag flies. That would be just the second reception of the season for Miller, but this might be going backwards.
Personal foul, illegal helmet contact, hands to the face, defense, number 99, 15-yard penalty from the end of the play, first down.
Keanu Williams, the big man I was just bigging up. You're going to see him get off the ball here and just trying to separate from left guard Israel Mukwiza, their best offensive lineman, so that's a matchup to watch, but got to be careful with those hands. And Sean Miller stepping up for Keegan Johnson, who has been the Lobos' best receiver so far this year. He is out for this game. Sean Miller was out against Michigan, got his first action a week ago, and filling in right where Keegan Johnson left off.
Mexico all the way to the 27. Scott Trey Humphrey untouched into the red zone and cut down at the 15 by Andre Jordan Jr.
Carlo, it's just not good enough. Scott Trey is getting 7 yards downfield before he even sees a blue jersey. Now he is limping to the sideline. That is a cause of concern for everyone on the Lobos sideline, but they have a stable of running backs. They're going to bring in DJ McKinney, but these blue jerseys are just getting pushed back.
Well, that will take us to the end of the first quarter. Can UCLA find the physicality on the defensive end, or will New Mexico continue to run at will? Second quarter is next. New Mexico leading UCLA 7-0 through a quarter as we get set to start the second, being serenaded here in Pasadena. Deshaun Foster and company need a stop from their defense here. The Lobos have been moving the football at will, 114 yards to UCLA's 42, and inside the red zone for the second time tonight. McKinney now steps into the Wildcat. DJ McKinney will get a couple.
Offensive coordinator Luke Schleisner getting a little tricky, and I love the game that he has called. If we remember the first quarter, their first two plays were trick plays. You get UCLA on their heels. What have they done since? Just pound the football. Now we get a little more trickery. Just when you get comfortable and think you know what we're hitting you with, we hit you with something else.
And when you can have, Brock, a fresh back every single play, it makes it so hard on that defense.
It wears you down. And right now, this UCLA defensive front already looks worn down.
This time it's Bankston in the back. Lane on second down. Leaves it for Bankston. And he's wrapped up from behind. They'll bring up on a 3rd and 5. John Bonds to stop.
Great job there by Bonds, who was manned up on Bankston. They were trying to set up a little middle tunnel screen for their running back. John Bonds, always the smartest man on the field, sniffs it out, giving his defense a chance to get a stop here and hopefully get off the field with just a field goal.
Mexico has scored 5 touchdowns in their previous 10 red zone trips. Can they get to the 6? Lane sees Bankston in front, finds him, but he's short. Bonds another stop.
Back-to-back snaps. That linebacker, John Bonds, was manned up on Demond Bankston. Demond Bankston is their fastest running back, maybe their fastest player.
Looks like the offense is staying out there. And Jason Eck is going to play aggressive here in the second. New Mexico 3 for 6 on 4th down this season.
UCLA removes Nickel Kanye Clark and brings on linebacker Jalen Woods. They're expecting this ball to go on the ground.
4th and 2. Lane lofts, caught, touchdown Lobos. Or did he hang on?
Oh boy.
It was Mappa in the back of the end zone. We have not seen a signal from the officials.
We have a team meeting in the end zone with the officials, and they do call it a touchdown.
Touchdown, New Mexico.
Isaiah Chisholm did jar that ball loose, but what we're going to have to take a close look at is, did Simon Mappa hang on to that ball for long enough? Chisholm and this audience, of course, pleading the case with their boos, and I don't understand how you can confidently signal a touchdown there. Chisholm rips that ball out.
The replay officials have called it a touchdown. So Jizwicki a chance to make it a 14-0 lead. And he puts it through. On 4th and 2, New Mexico gambles, and they hit the jackpot. Simon Mappa makes his first reception of the season, and it's good for 7. We welcome you back to Pasadena. You got to look at Simone Mappa getting some congratulations from Dorian Thomas. Well, let's welcome in our rules analyst, Steve Strimling. Steve, talk us through this last play. That was a touchdown for New Mexico.
Yeah, you got to go through the process of the catch, which is 3 parts. The first is the control, which we're going to get the control. Then you have to have a body part clearly in the end zone. Then you have to have the time with control. He took 2 or 3 steps. He had control. And the defender, as you can see after the process, reaches in and rips the ball out. And this is a good call. In the command center, all scores have to be reviewed. They got a good look at it. They don't need to bring them over if they can get the clear shot, and they did that.
All right, so New Mexico takes the 2-score lead. And now UCLA will take the football out across the 20. Frias on the return.
A monster hit there by linebacker Randolph Kapai, and UCLA has no option but to swing back. The atmosphere of this stadium has already leaned toward the Lobos. The scoreboard is leaning toward the Lobos. You have to fight with every ounce in you that mindset of here we go again.
UCLA has been down at least 20-0 in their first 2 weeks. Nico lets it go. Mikey Matthews down the sideline into Lobo territory. Run out by Drew Speech.
They've been waiting for some fireworks for the little slot. Mikey Matthews, little in size, not in impact. He transferred over from Cal, and finally, him and Nico can get things going.
UCLA goes quick. Nico looking downfield for Gilmer. Broken up by Speech. UCLA going for the home run. Iamaleava has only attempted 4 throws of 20 yards or more coming into tonight.
And on this 5th one, he remains only 1 completion in all of those throws. Looking for the big play here, looking to get Speech on back-to-back plays. Speech says, no, 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 sir. Able to get his head around and get his helmet right in between the hands of Quasi Gilmer.
Nico for Gilmer. This time he reels it in and picks up the first down.
High IQ play here by quarterback and wide receiver. Nico sees the corner blitz. Quasi settles down, and Nico throws him the football. Jackson Eck, the head coach's son, already making an impact. Garrett DeGiorgio, usually the right tackle, making his first start at left tackle after 40 career starts. And Quasi Gilmer, we just saw his impact felt.
Tonight's Impact Players, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense. Flags fly on first down.
False start. Offense, number 3 never got set. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It goes against Gilmer, who just made the 13-yard catch for a first down.
Their 4th flag thrown on the Bruins. Tonight you see the disappointment in Deshaun Foster's face. As a reminder, 14 penalties a week ago. You're going to see the bottom of your screen. Quasi Gilmer does not get set for a full count, and that official wastes no time throwing that flag.
Into the flat, and Woods sheds one tackle. But New Mexico rallies to the football. Dimitri Johnson there first. And it sets up second down and long. Brian Booker made the stop.
UCLA brought in both of their tight ends on that snap, Hudson Habermill and Jack Peterson. We haven't seen much of them trying to get New Mexico in a heavy situation defensively, meaning linebackers in coverage. But the linebackers were locking up. Neither Peterson or Habermill were open. Nico had to take the check down.
Play action. Mikey Matthews the catch. And he's undercut by John Johnson. Right around the 30.
Another flag in the backfield of the Bruins.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 48, over the head. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play, first down.
It keeps the drive alive as going over to the sideline to talk to his head coach, Brent Carhu, was whistled for the roughing the passer.
They whistled 48. The penalty is here on Carhu, who lowers his head right into the face mask of Nico Iamaleava. It was a fantastic pass rush rep, but you got to keep it clean.
Iamaleava now inside the New Mexico red zone for the first time tonight. Over the middle, Habermill turns it upfield inside the 10, and second and short for the Bruins. Jackson Eck the tackle.
Great scheme here. They clear out the left side of the field, running off both receivers. And then you leak your tight end right where those second-level defenders used to be. Jackson Eck able to get Hudson Habermill on the ground, and this is what we want to see, spreading the football around, keeping this New Mexico defense guessing, keeping them on their heels.
Woods looking for space, and he's chopped down near the first down marker.
May have to measure this one. It's going to be close. And they are going to give it to him. Now that we're here in the very low red, Nico being able to run the football has to be ringing through the ears of this New Mexico defense. Anthony Woods may not have gathered a lot of yards in this series, but man, has he been running tough. And another piece of laundry on the field in the UCLA backfield.
Illegal substitution. Offense, 12 players in formation. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Brock, when you have an illegal substitution, whose responsibility is that for UCLA?
It always falls on the head coach. It always falls on the offensive coordinator. But it's from a player's perspective, it's not knowing the personnel. It's someone currently on the field, not hearing the correct personnel, or forgetting they're not in the personnel that's coming on the field.
So it's first and goal, but it's from the 12. Nico over the middle. He's got Titus Mokiao Atimalala for the touchdown. Bruins are on the board.
And a sigh of relief all across Pasadena. You're going to see Titus bend his route outside and then bend back into the middle of the field. And you see cornerback John Johnson point to say, whoa, 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 who was supposed to be there? That's just fantastic route running, manipulating the defense.
Bagani bags it, and UCLA within one score. The Bruins drive down the field. Iamaleava 6 for 7 on this drive, including this dart over the middle to Titus Mokiao Atimalala for the touchdown. The Bruins pick up 7 and are within 1 score thanks to this nice throw from Nico Iamaleava over the middle.
Look at this route running. Look at Titus bend that route outside. John Johnson, as the corner, says, I have to get width. And he's looking, wondering where safety number 7, Tavian Combs, is. Tavian said, I saw that receiver leave my field of vision. I thought he was yours. John Johnson creating that wide open window. And Titus Mokiao Atimalala just putting on a clinic of route running. It's so subtle, but the little things are the big things.
A feel-good drive for the Bruins as Nico seemingly found his rhythm. 6 for 7, 72 yards as they march down the field and find the blue and gold at UCLA end zone. Pagani's kick is off and over the head of Abe Williams. Let's hear more from Ron Snodgrass, our head official. Roughing the passer was the first penalty on New Mexico.
You know what? I believe they picked up the flag.
All right.
They changed their mind. Everyone's allowed to change their mind once in a while, you know. It's all right.
Ron wanted to save his voice. Big weekend coming up. We'll start at the 25. McKinney is stood up by Devin Apue. Tomorrow, Big Ten Tailgate is live from Michigan with all of the pregame festivities and a conversation with Bryce Underwood and Samaj Morgan. Then, countdown to kickoff brings you the latest from around the conference right before the action begins. It all starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Haven't heard a lot from Bryce Underwood. It should be an interesting conversation. Brock, I'll definitely be tuning in.
Oh, certainly. And Samaj Morgan is a character, let me tell you.
Lane on second down. Pocket crumbling. Lane lofts. And it's over the head of Sean Miller. Coverage on the play nicely by UCLA as Lane just ran out of space.
Gary Smith able to break through. You're going to see 58 disengage and get one hand on the hip of Jack Lane. Jack Lane able to scramble out and get to safety before taking a blow from Kayshawn Bennett.
Somebody they really, really like. Kayshawn Bennett next to Gary Smith. Feel like those two can create a lot of havoc in the backfield.
That is absolutely right. Kayshawn, the transfer from Michigan, didn't get here till the summer. It took him a while to pick up this defense. Last week he got his first start, and there will be no looking back.
UCLA showing blitz. They drop back. Eck wants to take a shot. And it's incomplete. Almost an incredible interception from Kanye Clark. And he would like to have that one back, but nonetheless, the Lobos go 3 and out.
He didn't bring it in, but this is such a fantastic effort from Kanye Clark. He is the coverage corner of all the nickels. Look at him tracking that football, reaching in. And if it wasn't for the receiver there, Isaiah Blair, that's Ziel Smith. His left hand does just enough to dislodge it from Kanye Clark. But fantastic route recognition from Clark, and as he bangs the ground, he says, I wish I would have had that one.
Daniel Hughes to punt. Averaging about 45 yards this season. And he'll punt it again. This time, I think they'll leave the laundry on the field.
False start. Kicking team number 7. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Whereas UCLA has a too many penalties problem, Jason Eck and these New Mexico Lobos have the least entered this game with the least penalties in all of the FBS. Only 3 coming into this game, 2 so far in this first half.
And last year, Brock, they had the 3rd most in the country.
The impact of Eck.
Yeah, and 75 new players, the most in the group of 5. Hughes on the retry. Here comes Mikey Matthews down the sideline. Matthews towards the 45. And there is a flag on the field. This is on New Mexico. UCLA could have the ball in Lobo territory to start their drive.
Jaden Sheridan is also down in a great deal of pain close to that flag.
During the return, personal foul, illegal blindside block, receiving team number 1, 15-yard penalty, first down. Timeout.
Kanye Clark whistled for the penalty. UCLA an opportunity to even things up. Can Nico Iamaleava continue his hot streak and get the Bruins back to the promised land? Bryce Underwood leads the Wolverines against Central Michigan. Plus, Kirk Ferentz looks to become the Big Ten's all-time winningest coach, all part of a football triple header tomorrow, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. A great slate of games, Brock. I can't wait. And Mark Followell, Anthony Herron, and Danny Rogers will all be on the call for that Iowa-UMass game. Anthony Herron was with Kirk Ferentz for win 1, and now we'll try to be with him for win 206.
What a special moment that will be if he can pull it off.
UCLA begins their drive inside their own 15, and Anthony Woods gets a couple. Opportunity here, Brock, for the Bruins. Down 14-0. They get the touchdown. Nico goes for 6 for 7 on their last drive. Now they can tie the game, and they'll get the ball to start the second half.
New Mexico defensive backs got exposed a little bit on that series before that ended up in a touchdown. Look for Nico to find something downfield.
Iamaleava steps up, dives forward, and picks up the first down.
What Nico was so special at, it reminds me of Lamar Jackson, not in Nico's running ability, in his ability to avoid the big hit. For such a big frame and how often he has to tuck and run the football, he never takes the big hit. A defender never can just line up and square and tee off on him. And he protects himself because, unfortunately, with the current state of this offense, he does have to take a lot of hits, but he remains healthy, he remains clean.
He's UCLA's leading rusher this season. Nico on a dart for Gilmer, and a little outside his reach. Brings up second down.
Miscommunication between quarterback and wide receiver. Twazi Gilmer thought that was going to be a dig route. He thought he was going to continue across the middle of the field. Nico saw it as, hey, you're open, just sit where you are. Chemistry, chemistry, chemistry. I'm not going to sit here and act like this has been a terrible day for either of them, but those are the things that you look for when you know that a quarterback and wide receiver are truly clicking.
They give up the middle to Jet Thomas, and he mows his way towards the 30. A nice gain on second down will set up second and third and short.
And third and short is where Nico thrives. He has the option to run the football, whether it's by design, whether it's by coverage breakdown. And offensive coordinator Tino Sunseri knows exactly what he has at that quarterback position, and he's smiling ear to ear whenever he can get a third and short.
Bruins need the 32. Direct snap up the middle. Berger is wrapped up. UCLA was trying to go to a little trickery, and Caleb Coleman and Darren Agu were all over it.
And you see what you see here is a loaded box, meaning regardless of any kind of trickery, if the ball is going to stay on the ground, you're outnumbered, right? I love the creativity from Coach Tino Sunseri, but against a loaded box, I would love to see a quick check to something outside. Your wide receivers have these New Mexico defensive backs on their heels. It's a shame not to strike at them when press one-on-one coverage with no help behind them.
Back to return is Buckley. Try to set up the Lobos. Drops the football and picks it back up. The heartbeat of New Mexico skips for a second. And now they can exhale. Buckley able to scoop up the mess.
You see Kanye Clark, another guy on this UCLA defense who can run 22 miles and over 22 miles an hour. But what you saw there is him and Jameer Benjamin, they throttled down just for half of a second. But what you see right there is a half of a second difference. It's the little things. If they keep running all the way through, they may be the ones who come up with that football. But credit to Michael Buckley, he's making sure that his offense are the ones coming on the field after recovering his muff.
Jack Lane and company set up for first down. Bankston stopped by Gary Smith, the captain.
And the captainship is exactly what he has earned. A fifth-year man, initially was a Duke Blue Devil. UCLA was more than happy to pluck him out of the portal. And you see why. He missed all of last year with an injury that occurred late in 2023. But they are certainly happy and expecting for him to have a fully healthy season.
Second and long for Eck. Finds Dorian Thomas for a first down, who stays on his feet and is brought down around the 45. A pickup of 18. Moves the chains.
What makes Dorian Thomas so dangerous is he has the mindset of a wide receiver. He straight up plays wide receiver. And sometimes, and you see 32 right there, Isaiah Chisholm dropping in coverage. You want to drop straight back. He kind of gets hung up on the reroute and widens. And Dorian Thomas, after catching that football, sheds a whole bunch of blue jerseys as well.
Tight end's a big part of this New Mexico offense. And Thomas being a beneficiary of that. Here comes Bankston with space. Bankston down the sideline. Inside the red zone. Damon Bankston stopped by Isaiah Chisholm after a huge gain on first down.
Leverage, leverage, leverage. We're gonna see safety Key Lawrence come flying down and get kind of tangled up. You have to hold outside. Sorry, that's cornerback Robert Stafford. Key Lawrence is the one who finally gets him on the ground. Robert Stafford is at corner. The run play is inside you. You have to maintain outside leverage. If he gets outside of you, there's no one there.
Another give to Bankston, and he'll nudge forward for a couple. UCLA, a very balanced attack, or excuse me, New Mexico, a very balanced attack against UCLA in this first half.
And there is nothing easier than play calling when you can run the ball at will. The entire playbook remains open, and the frustration probably for UCLA's defense is our DBs, man for man, should be better than their wide receivers. But if we can't force them into passing situations, that advantage means nothing.
Kaika Malloy, the defensive coordinator for the Bruins, trying to see if his team can force a turnover backed up on 2nd and 6. McKinney tries to move through the teeth of the defense, and he is stopped.
You're gonna see true freshman Jamar Tassi, who lined up as a slot wide receiver. You're gonna see it a little bit. He'll line up as slot wide receiver. He'll line up at fullback. They use him as an extra blocker. And you saw him there in that split zone look, doing the job of a tight end.
6'2", 308 pounds. We've reached the 2-minute timeout. New Mexico knocking on the door here in Pasadena. Halftime is coming up next. Mike Howard and Marcel break down the first half, preview a busy Saturday of Big Ten football. Indiana continues to roll in the Big Ten as we get you set for a huge 3rd down here at the Rose Bowl. New Mexico, opportunity to go up 2 scores. They can get a first down if they get to the 2.
Jamar Tassi, the offensive guard at fullback again.
Here comes Bankston. Woods initially there, and this is going to be close.
Going to come down to where the officials decide forward progress was stopped. You're right, it is close. And expect New Mexico to remain aggressive.
Already scored once tonight on 4th down in the red zone.
Jamar Tassi leading the way, and I don't know if my fullback was 6'2", 308, I'd follow him too. It is going to be 4th and short. This offense is going to stay on the field.
Last time they were in the position, they found Simone Mappa for his first catch of the season. And the officials stop things momentarily.
Ruling on the field was the runner was short of the line to gain. Plays under further review.
All right, they want to make sure they got it right. As Akaika Malloy, the defensive coordinator for UCLA, looks on. Big play, action play last time on 4th down, Brock. And with New Mexico and their ability to run out the trick play, got to be ready for anything. Here's another look at the last play.
And you see left guard Israel Muiza and pseudo fullback Jay Martassi pushing, and New Mexico pulls it backwards, but of course it's going to come down to that forward progress. But look at Jay Martassi driving Isaiah Chisholm into the end zone. That is 2 pancake blocks in the end zone. And Gary Smith does not get driven back often. Isaiah Chisholm getting driven back as well. This is what will drive defensive coordinator for UCLA, Akaika Malloy, insane. I have NFL guys, certified NFL guys, getting driven back. And yes, it is double teams. They are double teams. But as a defensive tackle, that's the job. You just have to take on weight and hold yourself sturdy so that your linebackers don't get reached. And right now, the Lobos are dominating this battle in the trenches.
Yeah, they are running at will. Over 100 yards on the ground already tonight. As you see our head official, Ron Snodgrass, still looking at the monitor. It would be 1st down if he gets there at the 2. Looking at 4th and inches.
And it may come down to if that left knee touched the ground. You saw Bankston kind of give a second effort there and put that hand in the ground. Maybe that's what this comes down to.
The line to gain. Please reset the game clock to 1:55. Put 40 seconds on the play clock and start both clocks on my signal.
Reminder, UCLA will get the football to start half 2. Stop here. Huge for the Bruins to stay within a score.
And it's 4th down.
We see more trickery from New Mexico. Or do they go to the ground where they've been dominant all half?
Well, this must be the longest play call of all time. I tell you that much. I mean, I know they got a fresh play clock, but they are milking this thing, and understandably so, right? They want UCLA to have the least amount of time possible. And if you're Deshaun Foster, I don't know why you don't take a timeout there.
Lobstein is in at quarterback. Play clock dwindling.
There is no play. And the fact that UCLA just let New Mexico run all that time off of the clock. Oh, we got to go to break. I'm going to sit here sweating, trying to figure out what hesitance that was all about.
We welcome you back to the Rose Bowl. You get a look at Jason Eck, the head coach for the New Mexico Lobos. And Brock, all that time comes off the clock on a 4th down. New Mexico doesn't even snap the ball for. And what do but run the offense back out there?
A fresh play clock. They ran 40 seconds off. No timeouts called by UCLA.
Lane keeps it. Cuts up field. Did UCLA stop him? No signal yet.
A helmetless Jack Lane believes he has it.
Officials timeout for a measurement.
And why not pull out the measuring stick if you're going to make arguably the biggest call of the night?
Jack Lane, his helmet was removed, so he does have to leave the field.
Which would mean, Brock, he has to be out for the next play unless the defense pulled the helmet off and there was a penalty.
And maybe, well, Jason Eck seems to be making that case currently, but the most important thing right now is this measurement.
Wow, they're short. UCLA forces a turnover on downs.
And you know what, Carlo, as exciting as this is for the defense, who really needed a big moment. As we get another look at this quickly, Jack Lane pulls it, gets forced back inside, and it is John Vaughns. Who else to meet him at the line of scrimmage? But you know what this goes back to, Carlo, is the 40 seconds that were ran off the clock. I'm not saying it's easy to drive 98 yards, but they sat there and let 40 seconds run off the clock. So yes, Coach Foster is excited. This defense put forth a heck of an effort. But you're sitting here with 3 timeouts, and you should be sitting here with 2 and a minute 49 left.
Iamaleava finds Woods. And he is dragged down after a gain of a couple. Jackson Eck meets him at the line of scrimmage. UCLA to get the ball. We start the second half. Big stop for the Bruins.
And they're in no rush whatsoever. They're just going to keep this ball on the ground, get into halftime with a 1-score deficit. Again, fantastic effort by the defense, but that lack of timeout is certainly confusing.
Woods looking for the edge. And he gets to about the 11. Make it a 3rd and short. And UCLA will call a timeout. We'll step aside for 30 and be right back for a huge 3rd and 1. Third down and 1 for the Bruins. Sitting at their own 12-yard line, Brock, and calling a timeout to set up something here for this 3rd down.
My guess is they get the first and then they take a shot on 1st down. You take a shot here and don't complete it, you're in trouble.
Nico does it with his legs and spins across the 20 for the 1st down.
And if they're going to take a shot, they call another timeout here, which it doesn't look like they're going to do. 1st down, so they're setting up chains.
Iamaleava to Habermill in the flat. And a timeout for Foster and UCLA with 11 seconds left.
Carlo, this is a tough final minute to watch.
Well, the Bruins will set up for 2nd down, and we will be right back. Second and 5 upcoming for the Bruins. It's an interesting clock management with 11 seconds left.
I don't understand it. The only thing that can salvage it is if you're going to take a shot right here.
Iamaleava with time. Finds Gilmer. UCLA has one more timeout, and they use it with 4 seconds left. And now we're looking at a shot at the end zone after that 20-yard gain.
Okay, so Carlo, first we're going to take a look here. Great route. The middle of the field is wide open because New Mexico is protecting the sidelines and protecting that clock. A nice pitch and catch to Quasi Gilmer. But Carlo, let me elaborate on my frustration here because there's a minute left. First off, there should be a minute 49 left, but you only have a minute left. If you're going to take a shot, then you call a timeout after that 1st down, and you certainly don't throw the ball into the flat. If you're going to take a shot, you have to take it. You've already lost a minute because the lack of timeouts. And now you are in Nico's Hail Mary range. He has a cannon of an arm. I do believe he can chuck this thing 55 yards, but I am going to be running through the script of this final minute in my head for a very long time.
59 yards from the end zone. And it's a quick throw. Habermill runs out of bounds.
And they may be out of time. Coach Foster is begging for one more second, but New Mexico's running to the locker room.
Do they put one more on the clock? You're going to look at it, Brock?
See if we can sync it up. Habermill gets out of bounds. If that left foot is out of bounds right there, then there is a second on the clock. If that left foot is in bounds, it's kind of blocked by his coach.
Previous plays under further review to see if there's time remaining on the game.
So again, if that left foot of Habermill is out of bounds, then they should have 1 second. If it is inbound and it's the right foot that's the first one out, then I believe they're out of time. Watch this left foot. Right there. If that is out of bounds, oh, that's going to be close. But if that is out of bounds, they may be able to salvage a second. If it is not out of bounds and they're looking at the right foot to fall, then that is halftime.
This is where you're hoping you're wearing white shoes.
My thing, Carlo, is Nico Iamaleava can throw the ball 60 yards. I've been covering this kid since high school when he was about 40 miles from here at Warren, tearing it up. He can throw the football that far. 5 more yards is not going to make a difference. Why take this risk?
Deshaun Foster, the head coach for the Bruins. Jason Eck getting an explanation on the other side. From the looks of it, everyone's going to stay on the field. The toe was out.
Here we go.
After review, the runner went out of bounds with 1 second on the game clock. 1 second.
Whew, a sigh of relief across this Rose Bowl to anyone wearing a blue shirt.
From the New Mexico 48. Lobos look like they'll just rush 3. And Nico a chance to show off that arm.
Oh my God, they have a false start. 2 linemen moved. So that 5 yards you just got is erased.
Offense number 55, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Eugene Brooks called for the false start.
So that 5-yard out route that Habermill just ran is immediately erased. And we're back where we started. By my count, that is the 8th UCLA penalty this half.
They came in averaging 8 a game. And timeout.
Charge timeout, New Mexico. The 3rd timeout, 32nd timeout.
Well, those Bruin fans who went to the bathroom to beat the crowd with about 30 seconds left are back and wondering, why is this happening?
They went to the bathroom, they came back and said, the 3rd quarter's already started? No, my friend. You haven't missed a thing. And this is a great timeout by head coach Jason Eck. You may as well burn it. You know this is the last play, and you walk to every single defensive back and you say, bat it down, don't be a hero. Bat it down, don't be a hero. The last thing the Lobos need is somebody trying to pick this ball off and running it back 99 yards, thinking about a highlight clip, and end up tipping that ball up to a UCLA player. Again, Nico, if he has a clean pocket and can step into his throw, he can reach the end zone. I promise you that. The question is, does this Lobo defense decide to bring pressure so that he can't get a clean throw, or do they just bet on getting enough guys back to bat the ball down?
Iamaleava. It's a handoff. Here comes Woods with space. And he's tracked down, and that will do it. All of that for an Anthony Woods handoff from over 55 yards. And UCLA will take the ball when we start the second half.
The most eventful, uneventful final minute of college football I believe I have ever seen.
UCLA, an opportunity to tie when we start half 2. Nico Iamaleava, 117 yards tonight. Get 116 in the 2 combined first halves in the previous 2 weeks. We'll be back for halftime next.
Deep breath. Nico Iamaleava through to Mokio Atimalala.
My man! Way to bring it home, Mike.
That's a touchdown for the Bruins. They're on the board. They are down 14-7, and we are thrilled to have you with us here in our Chicago studios for this halftime report. Mike Hall, Howard Griffith, and Marcel Reese. That was a unique final 2 minutes. Unconventional, perhaps, would be used. But if you wanted to summarize the first 30 minutes in general, what would you say?
I mean, we're in a one-possession game, and there hasn't been a dull moment in this game at all. Right now, if I'm UCLA, I want to go away from the stats, the numbers, and even the scheme. I'm looking here and I'm talking about discipline. Right now in the first half, UCLA has 8 penalties for 76 yards. It is very hard to win football games when you are playing against yourself and beating yourself in that way. You have to be disciplined and control the controllables. Play clean, pre-snap, no pre-snap penalties. And again, discipline with our hands and not having those post-snap penalties either.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's also happened, I talked about the defensive tackles in this game and thought that they would be a major part of it, but we've seen this defensive line be pushed and shoved around. New Mexico has really been able to control the line of scrimmage running the football, and that's not worked out. Now you fast forward to what we just witnessed the last 2 minutes of this game, of the half, and there's got to be a rhythm, there's got to be a plan, and it just at that particular moment didn't look like there was one.
Yeah, you brought up the penalties. Remember, there were 14 penalties last week for UCLA, so they're more than on pace for that here at this point. We also talked at the end of the pregame show about how important that first quarter was. 0 points again for UCLA. In their 3 first quarters, they have 105 total yards combined right now. So it's going to be another issue they have to try to deal with when they move into their
halftime adjustments, Mike,
of the season. That's what it's all about, Howard. You adjust, you move on. We'll see what the Bruins have in store. When we come back, we're going to talk about Indiana, who outgained their opponent earlier tonight by 603 yards.
I think that's good.
Can you prove that?
Earlier tonight, Indiana and Indiana State, Hoosiers and Sycamores. No Larry Bird coming through that tunnel. First quarter, Indiana's up 7-zip. Omar Cooper.
Big shake.
Oh, my. Omar had a day. So did the guy who threw it to him, Fernando Mendoza. And if you don't believe me, here's another opportunity to look at it. Mendoza to Cooper. 45 points for the Hoosiers in the first half. Cooper had 10 grabs. 6 were not for touchdowns. 207 yards. The Bison is back. The Bison is proud. The Bison wearing sunnies. Melanie Ricks with post-game reaction.
Congratulations on the win. How do you feel like your team was able to find your rhythm early tonight?
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys having me again. I thought our team took another step, especially our offense. That's who I can speak for. You know, the second game we saw a jump. I do think we saw a jump from game 2 to game 3 now. We got a lot of stuff that we got to clean up, including my part. A couple of missed opportunities out there, but we saw the offensive line play amazing, the running backs play amazing, the tight ends, and the receivers. It was touchdown galore. So really props to all those guys for making a good operation.
When you talk about playing a complete game, how close did your team come to that tonight?
I think pretty close. Defensively, the ones were dominant. The offense made plays. Some penalties on teams. You know, Indiana State came out and played really hard early. We just had more bullets in our gun than they did. But we've definitely taken a step week 2 and week 3.
Well, and speaking of, what steps from week 3 do you want to carry over into week 4?
All the good ones.
Thanks, Coach. Congrats.
All the good ones, Mike.
Only the good ones.
A lot of good ones for him to pick from. This is the largest shutout win for Indiana since 1901. Yeah. They just dominated from the word go.
It really did, and it's about coming out and executing, and it's about them really just running their game plan and do what they needed to do from an offense, defense, and special teams. They were trying to get better, knew that this was going to be a game that they should go out and dominate. He talked about his coaches being the ones that needed to lead the charge for the players, and they were able to execute that today.
I'm really impressed, again, with Coach Cignetti, the way that his teams take on his personality. And his coaches take pressure off their players, saying, put it on me. We're going to bring their energy, and you feed off of us. Offensively, I love the variety that we're getting from them. We've seen them rush the ball extremely well for the first 2 weeks of the season, and now they leaned on a number 2 receiver to have a huge game in Omar Cooper. Phenomenal performance.
Fernando Mendoza goes 19 of 20. That's 95% completion percentage, breaking the all-time Indiana program record for a single game. He didn't even play in the second half, not a single down. His
brother did, though.
His brother did. His brother balled out, too. 73-0 final score. Nico Iamaleava not quite having the same effectiveness passing, but still 11 of 14 is a nice improvement. Busy day Saturday, 4 games. Want to talk about one of these games? Maybe the Michigan one? What you want to see from Bryce Underwood?
I really want to see Bryce continue to grow from last week. This will be another opportunity where they should be able to go out and control the game, but I want to see him grow as a passer.
Now, how about that last one?
Grow as a leader.
Oh,
He doesn't have his head coach there with him this week either.
That's true. No Sharon Moore this weekend next.
Should be interesting.
Hey, you know what was interesting? This stop defensively for UCLA. Big. Kept points off the board for them. They're down 14-7. Carlo and Brock coming back after this.
Tonight's Big Impact Research takes us to UCLA, where scientists are designing transistor sensors that can detect changes in neurochemicals and hormones. Biosensors smaller than a grain of sand can monitor fluctuating serotonin levels in living animal brains to decode information about anxiety and why some people are more susceptible or resilient to stress. This sensor technology can also detect biomarkers in and on the body, including the stress hormone cortisol and ovulatory hormones, providing personalized feedback to improve health. We welcome you back to the broadcast booth as we get set for New Mexico and UCLA second half action. Coming up, the Bruins will get the ball to start the second half. And Brock, a first half that looked like New Mexico was going to run away with, but some big stops by that UCLA defense, they're right back in the game.
And in that halftime locker room, UCLA took a deep breath and a woosah. You say there were 4 or 5 chances for that game to get away with us, and here we are right in it. Let's go win this thing. If you're New Mexico, you're saying, we control the line of scrimmage offensively and defensively. Let's just go keep doing what we've been doing. Let's see what we got here for the second half.
Let's go look at our satellite first half comparison. Brock, what jumps out to you when you look at these two teams?
The penalties. The penalties are the difference, because the amount of yards, the amount of big plays that have been negated for the Bruins, who are in desperate need of big plays right now, it's unforgivable. 14 penalties a week ago, and here you are worse than you were a week ago.
Yeah, our first half stats comparison brought to you by Safelite. Let's go down to the sideline and catch up with Drea.
Offside. Kick out of bounds. Kick continued. Ball placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Hey guys, well, Coach Foster stressed that his team needs to be more disciplined, limit the penalties. He said we've had way too many penalties, and that's something that he told us in the team meeting yesterday as well. He said we need to cut down on the penalties, so he wants to see that in the second half, and he said the guys need to do a better job of extending drives. They need to focus better, and they need to try their best to bring this one home, guys.
Thank you, Drea. They'll try their best here on first down. Iamaleava's pass is deflected, intended for Titus Mokiel Atimalala.
You know, for being 6'6", Nico does have a shocking amount of footballs that are batted down, at least 2 last week, and I want to say 2 more in the Utah game in week 1. And when you do those RPOs, you are throwing that football right in the teeth of the defensive line. He has to find a way to get those footballs just a little higher out of their reach.
Second and 10. Jed Thomas in motion. Nico goes that way, and it just skips by him and sets up a 3rd and long. And UCLA, Brock, they love second halves. They've been a much better second half team. You look back at UNLV, they were a completely different team.
how strange is it that you're down 7 points and you can say, we got them right where we want them? Because we've had to climb out of 23-point holes before, and it's not an ideal situation, but it's real. You can have confidence knowing we've been in far worse situations and we haven't won, but we've been able to at least make it close. They got to get that win today.
Maleava over the middle, overshoots Gilmer. It's just the second 3-and-out of the season for UCLA, and it begins the second half.
You see the frustration on Quasi Gilmer's face because he's open. Nico has a clean pocket. He just overshoots him. Credit to safety Tavian Combs, who was closing in. Quasi would have had to catch that football through contact. Combs would have hit him, but certainly it would have been a first down.
The Bruins miss out, and now they'll give it back to New Mexico. Will Carroll to boot it away. Here's Buckley on the fair catch. This time he hangs on.
Unfortunately, there is laundry on the field in the backfield of UCLA, a story that was too familiar in the first half.
We'll wait to
Holding, kicking team number 50. 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
New Mexico gets just that much closer to the end zone. It's exactly what Deshaun Foster talked about with Drea coming out of the timeout.
And the holding is on the long snapper, Salem Abdul-Wahab. And safety David Murphy applying the pressure on the punt. And there's no denying that one. And this is not the start that UCLA was looking for, as the stadium that was somewhat inflated going into the half, despite the confusion of the final minute, is certainly deflated now as the Lobos offense gets ready to strike.
Bankston bounces it outside. Bounds away at about 7 yards. John Vaughn's the tackle. This is a UCLA defense, Brock, that is starting to find their rhythm. A 3rd-and-out 2 drives ago, and then the turnover on downs the last drive.
You would think that they would come out here with some juice because they finished that second quarter so much better than every series before it, and the fact that they kept the Lobos out of the end zone. But again, this stadium is deflated. That offensive 3-and-out may have stolen some juice from the defense.
Can the defense bring the juice? Bankston again. And he gets to the first down marker.
Here's an adjustment I would love for UCLA defensive coordinator Ikaika Malloy to make. Load the box. The Lobos receivers have not proven to beat your defensive backs. There were some trick plays early, and there was some eye discipline issues in the red zone. But if the Lobos get this first, keep that box packed. Make them beat you in the air. You cannot let them get these 6-yard gains every single time they run the football. And they have to be stout here on a 3rd and short.
And mark it short, 3rd and 1. Lobos have only converted 1 3rd down tonight. And movement near the line.
False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Israel Mukwiza, the left guard, and that flinch is just enough to do it. A rare error by Mukwiza, who is far and away their best offensive lineman. See the disappointment on his face, and now Jack Lane is thinking this ball is going to have to go to the air, and Ikaika Malloy, the UCLA defensive coordinator, is thinking I can dial up some pressure here.
Lane 7 for 10 tonight. What does he do on 3rd and 6? Lane, flag flies, he's down, the ball is out. John Vaughns jumps on it. We got more things to figure out here at the Rose Bowl.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 44. 15-yard penalty, first down.
You're going to see defensive end Devin Apue 44, who reaches out that left arm. You're just trying to grab something, anything, to get a tackle, and he gets a fistful of face mask. And just like that, you have an offense in 3rd and short. They false start, they make an error, they get pushed back. You have all the juice, and then you stab yourself in the foot. And unfortunately, as you see the expression on head coach Sean Foster's face, this is an all too familiar feeling so far this season.
10 penalties for 101 yards. And we are barely into the 3rd quarter. McKinney stood up and brought down. Cole Martin, who's been everywhere for that UCLA defense, with another nice stop.
What you want to see in a nickelback is comfortability at the line of scrimmage. Do you understand run fits? Sure, you can cover, you can blitz, you can drop in a zone, but are you comfortable in run fits? Do you know what to do when a guard pulls? Do you know what to do when a guard's pulling toward you? And he does. He's so comfortable down there and essential to this defense.
McKinney on the ground, spins away for a moment, and gets near that 1st down marker. Chisholm, another stop.
And watch this effort by Chisholm, who by all means, you're looking at number 32, by all means is blocked. He has center Caden Robin all over him, but that's not enough to stop Isaiah Chisholm. He still finds a way to get a tackle in. Here we have a 3rd and short situation. New Mexico hurt themselves after a false start last time before getting bailed out by a face mask.
3rd and just inches.
Jamar Tossi, the offensive guard, in motion.
And Jason Eck doesn't like what he sees. The head coach for the Lobos will call a timeout. It didn't look like they got out of the huddle quick enough. And Eck frustrated with his group. Well, a big 3rd down and 1 when we return. Can the Lobos keep the drive alive? Football on the Big Ten Network is brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance. As you get a look at them painting the lines here at the Rose Bowl, Oasis had a couple of shows here last weekend. The home of soccer for the Olympics coming up in LA a couple of years.
The most beautiful venue in sports, bar none.
McKinney on the handoff, picks up the 1st down and keeps the drive alive for New Mexico.
DJ McKinney, more of the scatty running back of the fearsome foursome that they have in their running back stable, but at 5'8", 182, able to lower his shoulder and give defensive end Kayshawn Bennett, who stands 6'4", 250, take him for a ride.
At Sam Houston State last year, he led all Conference USA freshmen in yards and touchdowns. He was named Freshman of the Year. Lobos driving on 1st down. Lane loss. Catch made by Smith. And into the red zone goes New Mexico.
They need to either pressure Jack Lane or go to man coverage, because it is clear right now that this UCLA defensive front's pass rush is not affecting him. He is comfortable, he is confident, and you do not want an opposing quarterback here in the 3rd quarter this comfortable and this confident.
Just 3 incompletions, almost 100 yards and a touchdown.
Got to switch something up. You can't keep giving him the same look.
There goes McKinney in motion. Screenplay to Keith, and the freshman is uprooted at the line of scrimmage. Guess who? Isaiah Chisholm, who came into today tied for 1st in all of the FBS in tackles per game.
And you see here why great linebackers don't just tackle well, they diagnose well. You see him breaking on the tight end screen to Cade Keith before the pass is even thrown.
UCLA went 3 and out to start the half. This will be the 8th play of the drive for New Mexico, and Isaiah Chisholm hoping his defense can get a stop. McKinney again. Like a bowling ball, forcing his way forward inside the 10. And another 3rd and short on this drive for New Mexico.
Another impressive run by McKinney. Again, he is not the between the tackles guy. He is the speed guy. He is the screen guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue jerseys have to come to aid to get down DJ McKinney. Scott Trey Humphrey, questionable to return. He did leave in the first half, but clearly DJ McKinney is having no problem filling in that role.
9 carries tonight. As you look at the red zone trips for the Lobos. And nothing happening for McKinney. He had 9 carries in the previous 2 games, Brock, but a much bigger part of the offense against UCLA.
And a big decision to be made as New Mexico looks like they're leaving their offense on the field for 4th and short, reminiscent of how we finished the first half. 4th and short in almost the exact same spot.
Longest drive of the game for the road team.
Jack Lane likely going to be in a situation where he can make a read. Hurt him with his legs, as he's done multiple times now tonight.
4th and 1. Give up the middle. It's close.
Saying the ball got out.
And the UCLA Bruins force a turnover again. They bend, but they do not break. And backed up, UCLA gets the ball back.
Key Lawrence from his free safety position. The first one to meet the back right in the hole. Key Lawrence says, offense, go out there and do your thing. I got your back.
New Mexico still hanging on by 1 score. And let's look at that last 4th down. Brock, the Bruins once again a big stop.
Key Lawrence from his free safety position lined up about 5 yards deep with his heels on the goal line. Able to meet the running back at the line of scrimmage. Devin Apu able to fall on that football, making sure that their first turnover forced this season would come when this team needed them most.
How will the offense build off of that forced turnover? They start at the 3. And a throw over the middle is broken up beautifully by John Johnson. Intended for Titus Mokiao Atimalala.
Now watch Titus run this route. This is a situation, boom, he breaks in. This is a situation where you have to be on the same page as your quarterback. He's not dancing, but he's trying to stem his corner when Nico was saying, no, just break now. Nico wanted to throw that ball even earlier than he did there. And again, this goes back to the chemistry with his wideouts.
This time on the ground. And not much going there for the Bruins. They'll set up 3rd and long.
One thing that certainly needs to change is Nico being the feature back. He doesn't have the most rushing yards because Anthony Woods had that big run to close out the half, but anybody who's watched this game knows that Nico is really the only one consistently getting something going on the ground. The ball won't be on the ground here, but until a running back can start making plays, it's just going to make Nico's job a lot harder.
3rd and 7. And Nico just spikes it. Woods was in the area. UCLA came into this game with 1 3-and-out on the season, and on back-to-back drives, they go 3-and-out.
And there were linemen downfield, meaning all 11 of UCLA were not on the same page. They were not on the same page. First off, it's a halfback screen, so your options are limited. So the play call kind of puts Nico in a bind. You see his frustration, but I can promise you all 11 were not on the same page.
Carroll out of his own end zone. Buckley lost it, ball on the ground. The Bruins looked like they were there first. And now they have to separate the bodies. Second time Buckley has muffed the punt. And UCLA comes away with a football. Brian threats.
The ball was caught by the receiving team and recovered by the kicking team. First down, UCLA.
The first time Buckley muffed the punt, the coverage team slowed down and they weren't able to fall on it. This is what happens when you put forth that maximum effort, setting up your offense.
Carroll put it high enough, and Buckley could not track it down. UCLA with new life on their drive. New Mexico leading 14-7, but the Bruins get the ball after the muff punt. And tonight's coaching profile is presented by Discovery. Get a look at the Sean Foster. Second year with UCLA, looking for a big win. Somebody who really bleeds blue, a part of this Bruin program.
An absolute legend. And what I hope he told offensive coordinator Tino Sinceri here is take a shot. Sudden change, defense is on their heels. You have to take a shot.
Best starting field position of the night. Throw over the middle. There's the shot. There's the catch. Mikey Matthews into Lobo territory as C.J. McBee brought him down on the sideline.
There it is. There, you have to take advantage when a defense goes through the mindset of, okay, we're off to the sideline, offense is on the field, and boom, they're right back out there on the field. Mikey Matthews had himself a good start to this game, got quiet. Look at that extension, reaching behind him, momentum moving forward. Fantastic effort.
Nico finds Gilmer on the sideline, and he'll spin forward, and the Bruins picking up the pace on this drive.
Mikey Matthews, they have such high hopes for him. Came over with his wide receiver coach from Cal, Burl Toller III, a Cal legend. Burl Toller is, and he called Mikey. Mikey said, I'm coming because I know that quarterback can put it on the money.
Mikey and Nico played 7-on-7 together. It's a give to Jet Thomas. Bruins trying to stay balanced. New Mexico all over it. Dimitri Johnson sniffs out the run. And a third down upcoming.
Running the football, unfortunately, for more than a calendar year now has just been an issue for UCLA. Only 4 rushing touchdowns a year ago. That was the least in the conference.
And they led the conference the previous 2 years in rushing.
That's correct.
Of course, you had Zach Charbonnet as your back.
That helps.
More movement.
Ball start. Offense. 72. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Garrett DeGiorgio making his first start at left tackle. He's made 40 starts in his career. He's the most experienced player on this team and experienced enough to make sure he gets the snap count and not hurt his offense. 2 steps forward, 5 steps back, and now Nico in this offense got to figure out a 3rd and long.
Looking for the 21. And again, a flag on the field. This would be number 12 if it's on UCLA.
Ball start. Offense, 72. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Back-to-back plays. Same situation, and now you have to wonder what is going on with this snap count for Garrett DeGiorgio, who again 40 starts under his belt. He knows football. He may not know Nico very well. Nico just got here in the summer, but these are the things that you cannot afford to happen ever, let alone in a close game like this.
Nico gets out of James Newby. Magic from Maleava, but then he's pushed out of bounds. David Murphy eventually tracks him down, but Keyshawn James Newby might be looking at his gloves like, ow.
Nico is messing with the snap count. You see his hands. He'll do that about 1,000 times before he finally claps. And Garrett DeGiorgio's the one that gets beat there. Keyshawn James Newby, the defensive end, who wasn't able to get Nico down, but he was there first. He seems to have a better read on the snap count than Nico's own left tackle.
Mateen Bagani from 51 yards. Career long is 57. And he's got it. They affectionately call him Moneybags. And that one was all cash. UCLA within 4. Well, they turn the muff punt into points as Mateen Bagani knocks one through. Big Ten Plus gives you access to more live Big Ten games. And tomorrow, you can see the 3rd-ranked UCLA women's soccer team open conference play against Oregon. Download the Big Ten Plus app today. It's always game on. Not gonna wanna miss that one. UCLA coming off a huge win last weekend against #1 Stanford, winning 2-0. They jump from 18th to 3rd.
Death, taxes, and UCLA dominance in Olympic sports.
Bagani over the head of Abe Williams. Tonight's power performance is presented by Stanley Steamer, and it's all about this UCLA defense.
It has not been pretty, but it has been efficient, making plays when they need to. This defense has been completely honest. There are moving pieces. They're still trying to find 11 pieces that they can trust, but this has been a step in the right direction, specifically in this 3rd quarter, giving their offense as many opportunities as they can. Carlo, I want to bring up something that just happened on that kick return. Abraham Williams let that ball bounce. If that did not bounce in the end zone, it would have been a live ball. I'm sure he's getting screamed at the sideline about that right now.
It sets up Lane, who's looking downfield. And just in front of the freshman, Ziel Smith. Mexico has hit the short passes, but they're still looking for that home run here tonight.
And twice now they've looked for the speedy freshman, Ziel Smith. Watch Robert Stafford closing from the other side of the field. You're going to see him late. This is zone, and Stafford comes over to help his safety, Key Lawrence. If he can get his head around, see, he's looking at Ziel. The space is close to the receiver, and you actually see free safety Key Lawrence point saying, man, you did the hard part. Get your head around and make a play.
Would have been the 2nd UCLA turnover by the defense tonight. DJ McKinney bouncing off tacklers and barges across the 35 for a first down.
As a reminder, Scott Trey Humphrey, who is the bruiser back of this 4-deep running back room, he's the slasher. He's the downhill guy. DJ McKinney is 5'8", 180 pounds. He is speed screens. He is lining up at wide receiver on bubble screens. And here he is turning into a power back before our very eyes.
Needed a sub after that long run. Lane gives it to Bankston. And he was shoved backwards after getting to about the 40.
3rd and medium here for Jack Lane. Sorry, 2nd and medium here for Jack Lane. And I want to keep bigging up offensive coordinator for New Mexico, Luke Schleisner. He is calling a phenomenal game. Phenomenal. And he has an offensive line that has consistently got the push on this UCLA defensive line. But you mentioned it before, partner, bend but don't break.
The mantra has worked for the UCLA defense. 2nd and 5 for Lane. Bankston again has the first down into UCLA territory. Lawrence is grabbing at the football, and the pile is still moving inside the 40. It doesn't seem like it matters who has the ball in that backfield. They're running for 10 plus. That's a 20-yard gain for Bankston.
And Key Lawrence is frustrated because he's saying, guys, I am the free safety. Why am I the first guy to the point of contact again and again and again? Bankston able to hold on to that football and then continue to drive his feet. Key Lawrence trying to make a play there, and I get it. It can be frustrating as a defensive back when you feel like I'm too involved in the run game right now.
Bankston came into tonight with 19 yards on the season. He's got 87 in this game. Here's another carry. This time, just a few. At what point, Brock, if you're this UCLA defense, do we start seeing maybe a blitz? Something different from their regular four-man look?
Ideally, 2 quarters ago. I mean, seriously, it's clear that it's not working, right? When something is not working, you have to change it. And defensive coordinator right there, Ikaika Malloy, a fantastic coordinator, a fantastic man. He has the trust of his players, but I am surprised that he hasn't thrown, to my knowledge, a single curveball yet.
They'll rush 3. And the catch is made by Buchanan near the sideline. Another short 3rd down coming up for New Mexico. Chisholm tallies another tackle. And that could take us to the end of the quarter.
Would not be surprised as far as that play is concerned. Chisholm and man-to-man on a running back outside. Jack Lane says, I'm going to see if Chisholm can cover. And he could, but not before a 3rd and short gets set up. And New Mexico's definitely going to take their time here and say we will resume play on the other side of the 50.
The Lobos will take it to the 4th. Up by 4. Big Ten football on a Friday night, and what more could you ask for here on Big Ten Network? We got a 1-score game with 1 quarter to play. New Mexico up 14-10. New Mexico leading by 4 as we get set for the 4th quarter. This isn't the first meeting between these two programs. Back in 2002, Ed Kazarian led the Bruins to a victory in the 2002 Las Vegas Bowl. Known for waving the towel to start the 4th quarter, UCLA could use some of that energy right here, Brock.
You know, every throwback photo just reminds me that the UCLA home football jersey is the greatest jersey in football, man. And the legend Ed Kazarian right there, look at that smile. He looks great. He would love to see a Bruin win.
Maybe Coach K is doing it from his couch tonight. McKinney on the handoff, and he didn't get there. Now decision time for head coach Jason Eck in New Mexico.
Offense staying on the field. As for right now, Coach Eck has remained aggressive all game long. He takes 2 receivers off of the field. He brings in Jay Martasi. We've seen him in that 12 OT personnel package where he plays fullback or tight end. They bring in another tight end. We're going heavy.
4th and 1. UCLA's gotten stops on 2 4th downs tonight. McKinney picks up the first and hangs on to the football. And UCLA unable to get the stop this time.
And you're going to watch Tassi, 58. He's the backup offensive guard. Boom! Setting that edge. And you know the running back's going to go right behind him. And if you are UCLA, you have to know Tassi is out there for a reason. He will take you to the football. Time and time again, these Lobo running backs know just follow Tassi. He's going to take me to the promised land.
John Madden would have been proud of that boom, bro. That was good. Well done. 1st and 10. McKinney twirls. Inches towards the 26. And some extracurriculars after the fact. Kanye Clark throwing Michael Buckley to the turf.
The extracurriculars usually pick up around the 4th quarter when you're just sick of hitting one another, but no flag, no foul, I suppose.
This will be now the 10th play of the drive for a New Mexico team, Brock, that had the ball for 11 minutes in the 3rd quarter.
And if they can continue running the ball as well as they have all game, it's not going to change.
34 runs to 15 passes. They'll pass here. Thomas the catch. Nick's Kanye Clark miss. Gets into the red zone and picks up the 1st down. Stafford the stop, but not after the tight end picks up the sticks.
I brought up leverage before, and here's another example. 2 UCLA defenders over pursuit understand where your help is. If you're the first guy there, okay, I got to get outside to force him inside. And if you're the second guy there, in this case, defensive end Devin Apu, you know Kanye is going to force the ball back inside. Leverage, leverage, leverage.
Trickery from the Lobos. Here comes McKinney. It's a race to the pylon. And stopped by Key Lawrence. Maybe a touchdown saving tackle by Lawrence on the outside.
DJ McKinney, a little exhausted. This is not the workload he thought he was going to get. Carlo, how many times has Key Lawrence made a touchdown saving tackle? Fantastic play call. I can't give enough credit to the Lobo offense. Key Lawrence again getting a Lobo on the ground. As a free safety, you are the last line of defense. You have to play every snap with the pressure of, if I don't make the tackle, nobody will. And you don't want your free safety to have to make a bunch of tackles, but Key Lawrence has answered whenever his number's been called upon.
2nd and 1 from the 6. Bankston this time picks up the first down, and it is goal to go for New Mexico, who's looking for their first score of the half. And a promising drive developing for the Lobos.
And you talk about lack of adjustments. There are still only 4 Bruins with their hand in the ground. We're finally getting a heavy set here as 2 extra defensive linemen check into the game. I want to see 5 or even 6 guys with their hands in the ground. Let the defensive backs take care of potential play action, but they just look so light in the box right now.
Lane, Gibbs, Bankston, into the end zone, touchdown, New Mexico. And the Lobos inflate the lead here in the 4th.
A quick hitter here for the Lobos. Again, great play call. There's been plenty of them today, but look how easily he gets through. Tassi, as always, follow him. He will take you to the promised land, but the lack of adjustments to heavy sets. There are extra offensive guards on the field. There's nothing but guards and tight ends out there half the time. You have to adjust and get more hands in the dirt.
Here's Wiki. Splits the Spires. And New Mexico goes back up 2 scores. 13 plays, 75 yards. Damon Bankston didn't have a rushing touchdown coming into this game, and he goes untouched into the UCLA paint. Mexico up 11. Damon Bankston gets some high fives from his teammates after scoring his first touchdown of the season to put New Mexico up 21-10. What's on the line tonight for the Lobos? They're seeking their first win against a power conference team since 2008. Jason Eck, in his first year with the program, he's fired up.
And who is he pumping up? Offensive lineman, offensive lineman, offensive lineman, offensive lineman. He is saying you guys have dominated, and especially the last man there, Jamar Tassi, the backup offensive guard slash fullback slash tight end slash wide receiver. They send in motion to crack on a DN. That's an offensive lineman right there. He always will be, even if he is the head coach.
Rios takes a knee. UCLA will march the offense out there. Bryce Underwood leads the Wolverines against Central Michigan. Plus, Kurt Ferentz looking to become the Big Ten's all-time winningest coach. All part of a football triple header tomorrow, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Again, Mark Followell, Anthony Herron, Danny Rogers will be on the call for that Iowa game. Anthony Herron was there for win 1 with Coach Ferentz, and now can be there for win 206. Brock, I know what I'm doing at 4:30 Pacific.
I'll be right there with you. And they say never. That record is never getting broken after Ferentz breaks it. I'm sorry. That is etched in stone for eternity.
27 years, you kidding me? Gilmer underneath, and he finds his way across the 35. UCLA picks up a first down on first down.
Quasi Gilmer just dragging across the field. Caught New Mexico in zone. If you're going to sink back, I'm going to run you guys off and have Quasi catch the ball underneath.
Yamaleava. And what? Would you know?
I bet you can't guess.
I'm going to guess. I'm not going to guess.
False start. Offense, number 3, never got set. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That is the second time now that Quasi Gilmer has been flagged for not getting set. You see him running out there, and this is on Nico. This is on Nico. Should Quasi have a little more pep in his step? Maybe, but he just caught a pass for a first down. Give him a second to line up. 13 penalties now.
6 false starts. Iamaleava almost intercepted. And Drew Speech is going to be seeing that one in his dreams tonight, right through his hands. He couldn't hang on.
He read this perfectly. He read this perfectly. Watch 25 and the jump he gets. Bad snap initially. Boom. And it bounces right off of his face. And I wonder if that bad snap from Nico just caused him to panic a little bit, because Drew Speech was all over that.
And that's off a face mask. Another one over the middle. Another near interception. This time it's Tavion Combs who got to the football first. It was intended for Mikey Matthews.
A little bit of 7-on-7 violence. Tavion Combs here getting a jump on Nico, and he reads it. And I tell you what happened right there. You saw it, that angle as Mikey's takes a massive hit. Tavion Combs was hidden behind the official. Nico never had a chance to see him. He came up out of nowhere.
Iamaleava underneath. And Woods makes it a 4th and about 4. It was Combs and Eck combining for the tackle.
Offense has to stay on the field. You have to remain aggressive. That clock is dwindling, and when you're facing a team that can run the ball at will, they can eat up all that kind of clock. This is a now or never situation. No hesitation here by offensive coordinator Sunseri.
Bruins were 7 for 9 on 4th down coming into tonight. Iamaleava makes a man miss. Fires. Broken up. No flags. And it's Abe Williams in coverage. UCLA turns it over on downs.
And you see the UCLA sideline with their hands up in frustration because of the potential defensive pass interference.
Get another look at it here. Nico stays on his feet. Just a little behind the receiver. Welcome back to Pasadena, and we're going to bring in our rules expert, Steve Strimling, because as we look at the last play, Nico Iamaleava hit here by Darren Agu, and Steve, this was reviewed for targeting but ruled not targeting.
Yeah, it's a good stop for review. The defender does lower his helmet, but he's got to hit him with the crown, which is the 6-inch radius, directly on top. Even though he lowers it, it's probably somewhere on the above the face mask, and it's not clear and obvious. And replay is going to officiate that play, through the videos, regardless of what was called on the field. I agree with the call of no targeting.
All right. Here's a look at Nico Iamaleava looking down at the iPad, trying to figure things out for this UCLA offense. But staying in this game, Brock, is going to be on this defense for the Bruins.
And unfortunately, at no point this evening has UCLA shown the ability to stop the run game, averaging 6 yards a carry. New Mexico, in their minds, are saying, we're just going to keep running this football until that clock hits 0. UCLA has to get stops.
And Chisholm gets in the backfield, grabbing onto the ankle of McKinney. Good stop from Chisholm. And if you're wondering how hard DJ McKinney has worked today, look at his jersey.
Chisholm reads that play perfectly. You saw tight end Cade Keith, 88, pulling. Chisholm says, I'm going to follow that guy and shoot the first gap I see. He does that, and now you get in a 3rd and medium. And by all means, as obvious as it is, it has to be said, this is a must-stop situation here for the UCLA defense.
3rd down and 6 for the Lobos. Lane fires. Buckley was there, but did he see the first down marker? And is it going to be 4-down territory for New Mexico?
There's now a flag on the field very late, about 3 seconds after the play ended.
Oh. Didn't see anything initially, unless this throw was made in front of the line of scrimmage. Not sure what they're looking at here, Brock.
Ineligible man. And a lot of times with those long, drawn-out plays, the offensive linemen start getting antsy. They're thinking, okay, it's been like 6 seconds. My quarterback's going to start running. And they start going downfield, and then Jack throws the ball late.
Eligible receiver downfield. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Take a look at the middle of the screen here. And this is not what I said. That is miscommunication. That is an offensive lineman thinking, this is a full-on run play. I mean, that's not even a RPO read right there. He fully thought that was a run play, and now you get pushed back 5 yards, and this UCLA defense gets another opportunity.
Captain Richard Pierce flagged on the play. 3rd and long. Dump off for Bankston. Trying to get to the outside. Beats Chisholm to the sideline. Bankston to the house for the touchdown. Lobos extend their lead some more as Damon Bankston goes for 43 yards and his 2nd touchdown of the night.
The slippery Bankston breaking every tackle that UCLA can throw out. 1, 2 with the stiff arm. Stepping over a tackle there. And in an effort to punch out the ball, John Vaughns is not able to get him on the ground. Carlo, let's remember, Coach Foster accepted that penalty. It was 4th and 1. Hindsight is 20/20. I get it, but it's something to think about.
His wiki drills it. And New Mexico takes their largest lead of the game. Damon Bankston with back-to-back New Mexico touchdowns. He loves wearing number 1 because he says when you wear number 1, you can't hide. And he's not trying to hide. Big-time plays from Bankston tonight.
He's saying, come and get me. The Bruins are unable to do it, and a fantastic block there by number 7, Dorian Thomas, about 20 yards before the end zone. Bankston is the best receiving back of all the running backs, but that had nothing to do with catching the football. That is just sheer willpower. 2 stiff arms, a step through, and then 6.
You get a look at him and Scott Trey Humphrey. Humphrey did all the work last week with 141 yards. It's been McKinney and Bankston doing it all this week. Frias takes a knee. And time running low for the UCLA Bruins. Wednesday, a star-studded volleyball doubleheader comes your way. First, Penn State battles Pitt in a top 15 showdown. Then 6th-ranked Wisconsin faces Marquette in Milwaukee. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Big matchup for Penn State, 2024 national champions, looking to remain towards the top of the volleyball world.
Let me tell you something. If you're sleeping on this women's volleyball season, if you think football is having chaos, this first couple of weeks of women's volleyball has been nuts.
Out of the backfield, it's Anthony Woods, the Idaho transfer, who played for Jason Eck 2 seasons ago. Eck now the head coach of New Mexico, and he picks up a nice gain on 1st down. And I'd imagine, Brock, this UCLA offense has to take a shot early in this drive.
They have to check the football. And quite honestly, they've had a little bit of success checking the football. But now they have no choice.
Woods again. He fights for a 1st down.
Anthony Woods has ties to the coaching staff on the other sideline. 19 Lobos have California roots. You know they're excited about their performance so far. And
another run by Woods out of Palmdale High School. 43 miles from here. Jackson Eck with a tackle on that last play. UCLA goes quick again. Will Nico take a shot? Peterson, the tight end. Forced out of bounds by David Murphy, the New Mexico native.
Just short of the line to gain, and Anthony Woods a little limpy coming to the sideline as Jet Thomas will take his place.
Nicknamed Jet because of his speed. They get out in space here. No, Eck all over him. And if you're New Mexico, Brock, you're living with these run plays and dump-offs.
You certainly are. You will take this as long as you can get it, because at this rate, it's going to take 2 more minutes to get to the end zone if Nico doesn't start chucking it deep.
To the flat again. Jet Thomas gets the edge. Sidesteps his way towards the 40. Bruins have not started 0-3 since 2019. They finished that season 4-8.
And as they find themselves in a 3-possession hole, nothing is impossible in college football, but the miracles need to start hitting really quickly.
Nico fumbles the snap, picks it up. Thomas the reception, and he slips towards that first down marker.
A rough day for the fundamentals for this UCLA offense. The false starts, now the center to quarterback exchange, just biting them in the butt at the worst times.
Habermill on the catch, and he is brought down immediately on the play by New Mexico. Not much going there.
Clock is ticking. New Mexico is going to make a line shift because UCLA subbed a player. The officials are now going to ensure that New Mexico has an opportunity to sub their players, and they're going to do what you're seeing right there, taking their sweet time.
3rd and 1. Throw over the middle, in the air, intercepted. Tavion Combs catches the volley, and New Mexico continues a magical night.
Nico trying to fit the ball into a tight window here. And that is Jackson Eck who's able to get a hand on the football. The quintessential middle linebacker is what this coaching staff refers to him as. Not just getting it done in the run game and the pass game as well. And Tavion Combs says that's the easiest interception I'll ever get.
One thing that Jason Eck talked about was going to be key in this game was winning the turnover battle. They force one there, stay even with UCLA. But it's that and the ground game that has been impressive from this Lobo team.
He talked a lot about the belief he put.
We're going to review here for targeting.
Jalen St. Paul, the receiver on this play, did take a significant blow after that ball was tipped. And that is what they're going to take an extra peek at.
Both teams will have a bye next week. And Brock, for New Mexico, a lot of pride going into the off week.
Certainly. So this ball gets tipped, and you see Jalen St. Paul take contact to the head there. I see a player going for the football. Now, contact to the helmet is always going to be checked out, right? Because that's a point of emphasis. Want to keep everybody safe. Actually, no. You're looking at number 16 there, lowering his head. So you have contact to the head, but that is a defensive back trying to make a play. I saw the head whiplash, and that's what I was looking at. But really, it's a blow to the back there that causes that whiplash, not the swing of the hand into the head.
Let's welcome in our rules expert, Steve Strimley. Steve, what did you see here?
Yeah, and the last comment you made is good. The first player hit him in the head, but with his hand. That's not a targeting. The player in the back did not hit him in the head or neck area, and it was not the crown. They made a good call and a quick review for no targeting.
Great job by our officiating crew here in Pasadena. Thank you, Steve.
And it's always good to err on the side of player safety and then find out that it was in fact a clean play. Anytime you see a player whiplash, take a big blow, and even a slight lowering of the head of a player, it's worth taking a second look. But this offense will remain on the field. They have 4 minutes to run off this clock, and the Lobos are thinking we are almost home free. We just got to bring this thing home.
Give is to Bankston. They get a yard, and it looks like Deshaun Foster is going to start using some of those timeouts. We will take just a 30-second break and be right back for 2nd and 9.
Talk about the rivalry, man.
We welcome you back to the Rose Bowl. Friday night action here in Pasadena. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Under 4 minutes to play and a 2nd and 9 upcoming for New Mexico. And Deshaun Foster will have a week off to go over the tape. And a lot of mistakes tonight for UCLA to look at and clean up. Good news for them, it is early in the season. Here comes Bankston. Bankston looking for his 3rd touchdown of the night. Damon Bankston. Breaking the bank late in Pasadena.
Speed, speed, speed. He's your kickoff returner for a reason. And when a guy who's fast enough to be your kickoff returner can break through the line of scrimmage untouched, this is what you're going to get. And unfortunately, it's been too familiar of a feeling for this UCLA defense.
54 yards for Bankston, who's inching near 200 total yards tonight for New Mexico. Still heaving. Lane's got to go quick. Another give. Bankston gets to about the 15. The Big Show delivers highlights, post-game interviews, and complete analysis tonight after football on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Mike Hall, Howard Griffith, and Marcel Reese have you after this one. Don't go anywhere.
You mentioned UCLA going into a bye week, some tough film to watch. And the Lobos going into a bye week as well before going into their rivalry, as you mentioned, against New Mexico State, the Rio Grande rivalry, or the Rio Grande if you're from California. That's always an exciting one for them.
McKinney this time. John Bonds and T. Lawrence trying to strip it.
And we got a fight in the end zone.
Broken up well by the official.
Credit to him for getting in there. I don't know if I would have been as bold.
Yeah, Jack Lane is looking at that crowd of Lobos, hyping them up. 2 minutes left. A 3rd and 1 upcoming for the Lobos, who are en route to their first win over a Big Ten team.
Two minutes left in the Rose Bowl. We'll get you back out to Pasadena in a second. But first, I'm Mike Hall, reminding you to stay where you are. Got a brand new edition of The Big Show coming up. Marcel Reese and Howard Griffith will join me. We'll look ahead to all the games coming your way on Saturday. We got volleyball highlights from big teams in action Friday evening. Plus, we got plenty on Indiana's absolute destruction earlier tonight here on the Big Ten Network. All that's coming up when the final 2 minutes are done. For now, back to Brock and Carla.
Thank you so much, Mike. 28-10. The New Mexico Lobos on their way.